Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our show this evening. I'm Kevin Long, the judge, John Payton, in riding shotgun as always, and we got a big weekend of high school football for the Plano Independent School District coming up. But, Judge, before we talk about some of the big games we got coming up, we've had a pretty good last couple of weeks here in Plano, starting with Plano+West, which has really turned things around ever since getting blown out at the beginning of the year by Arlington-Martin.
Well, you know, Kevin, we've talked about that. Arlington-Martin is just a powerhouse of a football program. I mean, they're ranked in the top 10 now statewide. They were ranked at the time when they played Plano+West 10th in the state and 11th in the region, and Plano+West has really been able to turn it around. You know, Mike Hughes has said from the beginning that Carson Smith is going to be the cornerstone of that senior leadership, and I think that Carson and I think that Wiggins last week against North Mesquite put a stamp on this, that we are here to stay, and if you're going to play football in District 8-5A, it's got to go through Plano+West.
Okay, Plano's looked all but bulletproof so far. They've had 3 blowouts, including the game we did 2 weeks ago when Mansfield Legacy pretty much looked helpless against them.
Boy, they really did. You know, the Wildcats, in fact, it was kind of humorous in talking with Coach McCullough after the game. The only thing he said they really needed to focus on was the fact they missed a PAT. But at the score of 62 or 64 to 21, at some point you've got to say, hey, you know what, we're ready for the challenge. And I think Allen High School is going to be that challenge this Friday.
And East could very easily be 3-0. They're not. They're 2-1. Very respectable 2-1. Of course, when you lose a game in overtime, that's probably not that big a shame because anybody can do that but East, another big one this week.
Boy, East has got a big one. You know, Keller was a bit of a test in the first half, and then Corey Wesley just blew it open in the second half with a couple of great 20-yard passes for touchdowns, and then Plano East took the game over against Keller. But, you know, again, going back to their first game, it was a gunslinger's ball there as well, as the score was it was actually larger than some of the basketball games we've called during the basketball season. So, you know, Plano East could very well walk out 3-1. They play powerhouse Flower Mound Marcus, who's also ranked regionally and in the top 25 in the state of Texas.
Okay, we've got all 3 quarterbacks in the house, and we're going to be visiting with them all right after these messages. And we have Carson Smith, the quarterback of Plano+West, sitting between us right now. And Carson, I guess the first question I have for you, when you get drummed like you guys did early in the year, sometimes that can be awful tough to get back on your hind legs and get out there in the middle of the ring and start swinging. You guys have done that.
Yeah, well, Coach Mike Hughes has always taught us just to forget the first game and just keep on fighting and keep working hard in practice to come away with 2 victories that we had the past 2 games.
You know, those 2 teams you beat, pretty good teams, and you were able to pick up some good wins there. Is it anything different you guys did, a confidence you guys gained? What was the reason for the turnaround, you think?
Well, just after that blowout that we had, we came more together as a team, and we talked to each other. We came together, and we came out fighting. And South Garland was a good
gut check.
Gut check for North Mesquite, and how it's coming out firing.
Judge.
Carson, I tell you what, it's been exciting to sit and watch you. You know, Kevin and I have gotten to call really the first 2 games that Plano+West played at home, and it was nice to be able to watch you get under center and drop back into the pocket and throw the ball around. How does it feel as a senior now leading Plano+West onto the field?
It feels great. When I came up my sophomore year, I was receiver, and I learned a lot from Michael Burnett, who was the quarterback at the time, and he showed me the ropes, and I've been around, so it's coming along easy. You
carry that burden of being the senior leader. I mean, Coach Hughes has made no bones about it that Carson Smith is going to be that leadership for our team. How's that feel? I mean, does it give you some excitement at the same time, maybe make you feel like, oh, holy cow, I got to carry the burden on my shoulders? How do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pressure, but you got to, as a quarterback, just forget about it and be the leader to your team that's what you need to be.
You're 2-1, Carson, as you go into the game against Louisville. Let's talk about Louisville for a moment. How did your week of preparation go in getting ready for Louisville this Friday night?
It just went like any other week would go. We came out Monday for 2 hours, and then Tuesday for 2 hours, and we cut back today 1 hour and a half, and went against our JV, and they had their running their defense, so we're good.
So what kind of defensive looks is Louisville going to give you guys?
They'll give us an Okie front, 3 down linemen, and then they'll in the back they'll play a simple cover 2, and they'll switch it around when we go in trips, and different formations.
What kind of blitz packages are they showing you guys?
They'll bring the right outside linebacker, and they'll bring both of them actually. And we got some checks ready for what they have coming.
Very good. How's your offensive line responding this year to some of the blitz packages you've seen both at South Garland and at North Mesquite?
We've done really good. Last game I didn't have any sacks against me. I was able to stay clean pretty much for the whole game, besides when I scrambled around.
When I look statistically, Carson, at what you've done so far this year, you're not throwing the ball 100 times a game. It seems like the coaches are calling the plays pretty evenly across the board. And when I look at Plano West's offensive stats that were provided for me by the Dallas Morning News, it almost looks like a very well-balanced offensive attack. As quarterback, do you see it that way? Are you feeling like you guys are mixing the plays up well? And do you think that those plays are keeping your defense or the defense across the ball from you off base and not able to key in on one or more people?
Definitely. We have some playmakers, and Wiggins and myself, and we have a sophomore, Austin Anderson, who's doing pretty good, and we'll run the ball down people's throats so they can stop it, and then we'll start throwing it.
One last question. Your two favorite wide receivers seems to be Carlos Wiggins and Austin Copeland. Talk to me about those guys. What make them your target of choice? Are they just open all the time, or are these guys that if you get the ball in their hands, that the yards after catch are going to pile up?
Yeah, they're both guys I trust. Carlos, I've known him since we've been working together since middle school, so we've had a good chemistry ever since middle school. And Austin Copeland, he's my guy. He's the guy I go to whenever we need a first down.
He seems to have a big number right on his chest, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
One that you like to target in on a regular basis, I noticed, yes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, Carson, first of all, thanks for being with us tonight. Louisville is going to stack up pretty good. You're both 2-1 as you go into this Friday night game. Louisville's offense seems to be more quarterback heavy. Quarterback there is thrown for 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And so do you guys defensively, when you were preparing over practice, did you feel like you could handle the offensive output that Louisville is going to be able to handle or put out, I mean?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Our defense has been great this year, especially with North Mesquite only giving up 100 yards total offense, so they'll be ready for them.
All right. Kevin, back to you.
Well, Judge, that's 1 down, 2 to go. We certainly appreciate you coming in here, Carson, and best of luck to you this Friday.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'll tell you what, when we return, we're going to have quarterback Richard Lagow, not Lagow, as I've been pronouncing his name all year, but Richard Lagow from Plano High. They got a huge one against Allen. We'll be right back at you after these messages.